Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. It goes to show how hindsight is absolutely 2020. Now, we've seen many countries across Europe, the Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Poland, Hungary, and others, openly or behind the scenes, start to realise that open borders are a mistake, that the Schengen Agreement is a mistake. My good friend, That President Journalist, did a video on this and how they're all wanting to close the borders and things. But the latest one has come from a surprisingly strange place. Paris. For years, the French have pushed for open borders and the Schengen arrangement. They were one of the core EU founders, participants. They want this dream of an open Europe and everyone can just pass in and out without question, etc. Only now, of course, it's become a cancer. Hoist literally with their own petard, often violently. Mass immigration is failing France. And this is being said by a French politician who at the time welcomed the open borders. Indeed, he was the one that signed the Schengen Agreement. He was the one that opened Europe and allowed what's happened to happen, basically. This is Nicolas Sarkozy, the little dwarf, the first of the little dwarves. What is it about French presidents? They all have to be short? And no, I don't mean Napoleon either. He wasn't particularly short. Average height by the standards. But, you know, the last couple, Micron, as we call him, the man who loves the older man, allegedly. And then Nicolas Sarkozy, the other one that used to mine those diamonds before going home to Snow White. There's a whole procession of them, I think. But he's the one who was all pro-open borders. He's the one who welcomed immigration into France to make France diverse, to make it popular. Basically, they had to own up on all their colonies and let them all in. But in the wake of more trouble, murders in Paris by another immigrant, Sarkozy has come out and he's called the policy wrong. He said France needs to change everything with regards to its borders, with regards to everything, and it needs to recognise, in his words, the problem of immigration. It wasn't a problem, mate, when you were signing all these open border arrangements and you were welcoming them in. Third worlders who hate us and hate everything about us. Wasn't a problem then, but it's a problem now. The crime rate through the roof. French culture is undermined. The French are actually complaining that their culture has disappeared and been subsumed by huge swathes of predominantly Arabic immigrants. Well, what do you expect? Take a nice pot of yoghurt. Take a dog turd. What's the smallest, tiniest amount of dog turd you'd be willing to put into that yoghurt and still eat the yoghurt? And that's your answer. Now, a lot of people in France are complaining. They're saying that illegals are committing murders. There's a huge thieving, homelessness, crime rates, R-ing of women, children. And it all seems to have something in common. Immigrants. And the French are not happy. And I'm glad the French aren't happy. The French have got a wonderful history of not being particularly happy about something. And what's great about the French people, what I admire the most, and if there's any French people here, please understand, I absolutely love you for this, is that when you're unhappy, you don't sit there and go, oh, yeah. There's none of that. You lot, you get on the streets and you riot. And you know that those up there are listening. You make your feelings very, very clear. And then change often happens because your leaders have already had one revolution and they're aware it could happen again. And Madame de la Guillotine, I think, needs to be oiled and ready to go. That would concentrate their minds wonderfully. If some modern Robespierre came out and instigated another reign of terror, but this time aimed not at the nobility, but at the no ability. You like that one? But Get rid of all your politicians and introduce them to la guillotine, and things will change. Heads will roll. And then France can take back its culture, its history, and its heritage. I used to love France. I used to love France. It was a beautiful place. And once you get past, particularly, I think, really the Parisian language barrier, at least if you can attempt a bit of French, you find that you can break it across. But we used to go to Nice, and I know Monte Carlo's across the border, technically, but that whole area was always very Nice. But it was lovely. It was a beautiful area. I love Nice. We'd go down, drive that coastal road and things. And it's just there. And you get it. And it's just that wonderful way of life. And I have a friend, an old woman friend. She became a widow, and in her 60s decided to up sticks and moved to France. Could not speak word one of French. Lives in Limousin there, and lived there for years. Learns, speaks fluent French. You couldn't tell she was English. Her French is that good. But then she's been surrounded by it and learnt and made a lot of friends out there and picks up all this, And when she speaks French, honestly, you wouldn't know that there was this old East End girl. She was right, proper East Ender, Eliza Doolittle, move your bleeding ass, one of them. Now speaks French like a native, and she loves it. But that whole French culture has been washed away by mass immigration, and it's happening here. But it's not just here, it's happening in the Netherlands, in Germany, it's happening everywhere. And the locals don't like it. And the locals are getting uppity. And Elon Musk is right. There will be a civil war. Maybe not in Britain, maybe across the whole of Europe. I mean, I can see it in Britain, but it may expand. It may be the whole continent goes up in flames. And so Sarkozy has got it right. There is a problem with immigration. And one of the big problems is immigrants don't absorb our way of life. They don't mix. They don't integrate. They want their little world here. But their little world is so shitty, they want to get away from it. Makes you wonder why they want to bring that shithole to a nice place like Europe and then turn Europe into a shithole. Where are they running to next? Or do they want the whole world to be one vast, giant toilet? That'll be it. And so, yes, Sarkozy belatedly has seen the truth and belatedly has come to the party. And now it's far too late, probably. Sarkozy, he started it. Maybe he can lead the change to finish it. Maybe he should join with Le Pen. Le Pen has plans, and that's the direction to go. Geert Wilders in the Netherlands. You got the Popular Front in Austria. They're all right-wing parties, and they're all doing well because people are fed up. Enough is enough. Let's see how long this lasts. Thanks very much. Bye.